What is up, YouTube? Buddy Films here with a brand new video, and we are back in the great game of Lumber Tycoon 2. And in today's video, why don't you go ahead, grab a couch, put it on your driveway, because today we are going to be talking about whitelisting and blacklisting players in the game. So if you are unaware or haven't seen the last video I made about Lumber Tycoon 2's most recent update, whitelisting and blacklisting has been completely removed from the menu, but that doesn't mean it is not possible to do in the game anymore. If you go ahead, click on settings, you'll be able to see a lot of different options. This is a completely new menu where you can go ahead, toggle the music in the game, toggle visits from anyone, which I will explain. But if you click on different players in the server, you'll be able to look at all these different permissions which you can configure to simulate whitelisting or blacklisting people. And the goal of this video is to go through each setting in here to help you all better understand what this system is, how it works, and how you can effectively blacklist and whitelist other players. I'm going to briefly describe what each permission does, and then the settings you have to change to actually blacklist someone in your game. So the first setting is quite obvious. It's literally all, and this will essentially for this selected player will enable every single setting in here and basically give them ultimate whitelist. And I don't actually recommend doing that for anyone unless you completely trust them, because there are several permissions in here that will allow them to destroy things on your base or drive away with rare cars or something like that, which you might not want to happen. So that's the all permission. And the next one is visit property. And visit property doesn't work unless you go ahead and mess with visits from anyone. And this is the way you actually blacklist players. So right now I have Rich Boy selected, who is present on my base behind me. It's using his username, not his nickname or display name, excuse me. So when I toggle this on and off, you'll notice nothing happens, and that's because visits from anyone is turned on. Now, if I were to turn this off, which I'm not going to do because that's going to kick all the fans off my base, that would result in everyone in this game being blacklisted, including everyone currently in the server, but also anyone else who joins. And the only way to unblacklist certain players is allowing them to visit your property by checking this box. But again, this does not do anything unless you have visits from anyone unchecked or turned off. So again, that's the ultimate blacklist up here, visits from anyone, but to allow someone on your base, but not everyone else, you just allow them to visit your property. You can go through different players, check it for people you want to visit your base, but that is the most complicated feature here, but that is how you blacklist players now. And the next setting might seem a bit obvious, but that is allowing players to place structures. Now, what is a structure? Well, a structure is, for example, blueprints, furniture like this couch I'm sitting on, sawmills, and even wires. Those all count as structures. Anything you basically press E and move on will be a structure. And if we go back into the settings really quickly, it seems like a lot of people just randomly left. But allowing people to place structures will allow them to place new blueprints, which is extremely helpful if you have someone helping you build your base, but they will not be able to move the structures once they place them. So you might want to toggle these both when you have someone helping build on your base, for example. When you have move structures turned on, players are not going to be able to place new structures. However, they will be able to pick stuff up, such as a blueprint or piece of furniture that's already on your base, and move it around. This is again helpful when paired with place structures when someone is building on your base. Destroy objects is pretty risky to give to any random person in the game because it's pretty basic. It literally allows anyone to destroy anything on your base. And to destroy something, you just press E and destroy. If this is turned off, they will not see this destroy button, which is the safe way to go when you have whitelisted players, because you don't want to give them this huge permission because they could destroy your base if you don't really trust them. Drive vehicles is also pretty simple. It allows them to drive any of the vehicles you own under your username. So that could be pink cars on your base. So again, you don't really have to whitelist someone with this permission unless you're getting wood with them or they're using your car. But if they're not driving your vehicles, don't let them, because if you have pink car on your base or something else that's rare, they could potentially steal it. The next setting, which is sit in seats, applies to any seat you own. That includes the passenger seat of your car. I'll go ahead and show that to you really quickly. This seat right here, and other seats like this couch here players cannot sit in, or the chairs at my dining room table. Unless they have this setting enabled for them, they will not be able to sit whatsoever, like this player right here. So unfortunate, but that's what this setting does. Next up is interact with objects, and this is basically any objects that let you press E on them that do not say check in the bottom left. So as you can see, if I press E on this, it just brings up the blueprint to look at it. But what you want to notice is this is E to toggle light. That counts as interacting. These doorknobs say close door. Having this enabled will let players close doors. And then one other example is levers. This just says toggle lever. Again, this permission will let players toggle levers. So it does have quite some power, but it will let players just turn on lights in your house. Maybe they're connected to neon wires, or open doors. Grab objects is pretty simple. Basically, it'll allow anyone to grab a loose item on your base, whether that be an axe laying around or a piece of wood. Anything that can be picked up can be taken. So yeah, you want to be pretty careful with that, because they could drag items away from your base. Even though there is a permission that will allow them to save items to your base, or to their base, it still could result in items going missing from your base, which is why you want to be a little careful with this permission. And speak of saving items, the last setting is saving items to base. This will essentially allow any item you own that ends up on another player's base with this setting turned on to save to their base. So if they reload or their base auto saves, that item will become theirs. You definitely do not want to have this turned on unless you're trading items with another player, but if they're just simply chopping wood for you or building your base, they could use this to their advantage, take items from your base, possibly if you have the wrong settings turned on, save it to their base and leave the game, and you will be missing a ton of items. So that should hopefully explain all of the settings in the new menu options. So this is still new to me. There are still some bugs, I believe. I think they might be patched by the time you're seeing this video, but they might persist in some older servers. Also, I do want to go over blacklisting players really quickly. So if you have players on your base that you don't want to get kicked off, for example, I don't want to kick these players off because I'll feel badly. Yeah, I'm not going to blacklist anyone, but for example, if you want to keep, for example, Rich Boy, Fish, and Sven on my base, we're going to go to each player, turn on visit property. As you can see, it's already on with these players because I turned it on earlier. But say I wanted to blacklist Fries Burgers, no offense. You'll go ahead, click their username, make sure visit property is turned off. And once it is turned off, you can go ahead and turn off visits from anyone. All the players that do not have the permission to visit your property will automatically be kicked off your base and unable to visit. All the players that do have visit property turned on will be allowed to stay on your base. The one downside of this system is that if you want to blacklist anyone, you will have to turn off visits from anyone and individually allow certain players onto your base. Even if a new player joins, they will be blacklisted automatically, which could be great in certain situations, but at the same time, just having one blacklisted player will prevent other players from accessing your base unless you manually go in and allow them to visit. So that's just one of the unfortunate aspects of this new system, but it does work out in the long run. It does have a lot of benefits that will help make scamming, stealing from bases, griefing a lot less prevalent in Lumber Tycoon 2, and this should hopefully encourage players to be more trusting of others, especially if you can limit the permissions and prevent them from potentially stealing items. But that is it for today's video. I hope this tutorial explains some things you might not have understood with this new system. I'm still learning how to use it, so if there are any questions you have, please leave them in the comment section, and hopefully someone will be able to answer them, or even I'll answer it myself. Before I do end today's video, I do owe shoutouts for all of my Discord server boosters and channel members as one of their perks. If you do boost my Discord server, you do get a free shoutout at the end of every single video, like these awesome people right here. Shoutouts go out to Bubba1025, Dark Trav, Finbar, Nazab, Nickel Plate Railroad, Pro Gamer Doggo, Sub to Bunny or No Cookies, The Aquarium Life, who happens to be in the server, X and 1MX, Surf, Smart, and the ISS. So I hope y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching. Maybe subscribe so we hit 100,000 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!